Welcome to Glenda Blasts Your Ear Off, flash fiction stories written by Josh Busch with special guest co-writer Timothy Robare. You can follow Timothy on Twitter at @author_T_Robare. Robare is spelled R-O-B-A-R-E. Narrated by Glenda Villamar. Stay tuned after this episode to hear a trailer from Soul Twin Audio's network. Enjoy! You have 1,440 minutes in a day. Use 5 of those minutes and visit freerice.com to play trivia games and help end world hunger. freerice.com. Episode 6. On-time delivery guaranteed. As their spaceship materialized at the destination, Selena couldn't believe her eyes. There was a fleet of spaceships attacking a space station. The conglomeration of ships were shaped like cats, fish, and even balls of yarn. A few orange cat ships sped by them with a large yellow ball of yarn ship in front of them. Selena, in the co-pilot seat, asked her boss, "The delivery we're supposed to make is in the middle of a war? And is this attacking fleet a bunch of cats?" Harvey grunted. "Well, aren't you a master of the obvious? Welcome to the Sirius system. Our delivery location is on the surface of that station. Dog Star Space Station, to be precise." "We're delivering a package in the middle of a war." Selena had long black hair with beautiful curls and dark brown eyes. Her skin was an olive tone, and she was fit. Harvey glared at Selena with cold blue eyes. "You said that already. If you don't like it, then you can jump out of the airlock. And besides, the client is paying us a fortune." Harvey was a middle-aged man. His hair had started to go gray, and he sported a thick mustache. Selena rubbed her forehead with both hands and groaned. "But how are we supposed to get out alive? Surely that's more important to you than a massive payday." To Selena's chagrin, Harvey kept on piloting in the direction of the station. The station was in sight. It was the shape of a giant bone with a few towers that stood out from it. Harvey deftly dodged weapons fire that was coming from the Cat spaceship fleet and from Dogstar Station alike. A distracted-sounding Harvey said, "You're the one who graduated from the Tactical Institute for Combat Engineering. That's why I hired you, so you could get us out of skirmishes like this. It's the top school." "You call this a skirmish? This is a full-on war." And then Selena spoke quieter. "I lied on my resume." "You what? Of all the times you could have told me. After we deliver the package, consider yourself fired." Selena's eyes bulged. "I went to the Tactical Institute for Combat Engineering. I did, but I didn't graduate. That must count for something, Harvey." Their ship was nearly close enough to land. Selena was convinced it was nothing short of a miracle that the station was concentrating its weapons fire not on them, but on a much larger ship that was a gigantic ball of yarn, with its yarn striking down soldiers on the station's surface. Their ship slammed onto the station, which even had artificial gravity on the outside of Dogstar Station. Harvey stood up. "I suppose some attendance at the Institute was better than none. So, you still have a job. Now let's go deliver that package." Selena ambled after Harvey, thinking how this was all a huge mistake and about how awful Harvey was to her all the time. They suited up into their light gray spacesuits. They hooked in their oxygen and pressed a button on their wrist. The button caused a laser to go over each of their faces and apply a tight white mask. Harvey glowered at her. "All right, liar, you'll be the one towing the package." Wordlessly, Selena hooked on the cable to the back of her suit. Luckily, she won't feel the weight of the white metal box that she's now attached to, as the box was fastened to a lightweight cart with all-terrain wheels. The surface of the station was a slightly bouncy red clay with intermittent grass. No one lived on the surface, but large yellow-stained fire hydrant structures marked some of the passageways, while other passes were hidden behind large boulders that seemed to litter the surface. A few buildings that stood above ground were ugly buildings from centuries ago, dating back to the War of the 10 Dogs, when the 10 Dog Kings battled for Dogstar Station. As they exited the ship, cat soldiers in their slim-fitting space armor exchanged laser fire with the dogs. The dog soldiers varied in their size. Some were large Danes and Malamutes, others were tiny Shih Tzus and Chihuahuas. The dogs all bore the red and gold armor of the Dog Federation. The cats were much more tribal and had many different colored suits based on the tribes they were from. In the distance, Selena saw a large yellow ball roll over some of the unfortunate dog soldiers. The dogs fired back with large mortar rounds that blew apart the giant yarn ball. Selena looked at the map on her readout, and she saw that they had to travel almost a mile through the war zone. "Harvey, why didn't you land closer to where we're supposed to deliver the package?" "Because I make mistakes, like when I hired you." Selena didn't respond. What would be the point? Harvey was mean, and he always would be. Sure, she didn't graduate from the Institute, but she had learned things there that had saved their lives on numerous occasions. "Selena, start walking. You'll be up front." "Shouldn't the precious package be in the rear? You know, since it's attached to my rear?" Harvey said, "Employee, you're the human shield for the boss. Off you go." So Selena started walking. She had to. She didn't have a choice. Selena knew if she quit working for Harvey, that she wouldn't have many prospects. Harvey's spaceship and his business made lots of things possible. Selena wondered aloud, "I wonder what's so important about this package we're delivering." Harvey pushed her. "Get over there. Find cover. We've been spotted." He ducked behind a large, jagged rock. Lasers burnt into the station near her feet as Selena ran and hunkered down behind a small building. Half of the building had been taken out. It was made of granite, old but strong gray granite. The laser blasts didn't stop firing on them. Both Selena and Harvey returned fire, but there were at least 15 soldiers attacking them. In her memory, Selena could see the face of her favorite instructor from the Institute, Professor Danks, with her dark black face, wild orange hair, and intelligent eyes. Selena could hear Professor Danks telling the class that the best weapon at their disposal was to find a way to remain calm, and so Selena made herself be calm. Harvey yelled, "I hope you have something up your sleeve to get us out of this." Selena gritted her teeth. "I'm on it!" And she dug around in her backpack. She whooped when she found what she was looking for, a drone grenade. Selena quickly programmed the flight of the grenade, and then she let it fly. The force of the exploding grenade knocked Selena and Harvey off their feet. Selena was disoriented when she came to, unsure how long she had been out. Selena made herself get up, and so did Harvey. They stepped away from their cover. Selena walked ahead and saw the grenade had done its job. She looked down at the carnage and saw that the soldiers had been dogs. Harvey chuckled, "A war between cats and dogs. This is too rich." "Okay, we're nearly there. If we stay focused, we're going to make the delivery on time." Then a laser blast went directly through Harvey's chest. The blow ripped apart the side of his chest, showing flesh and dried blood from the heat of the blast. Selena's battle's instincts kicked in. She let all emotion go and turned around. She scanned the area and found the shooter on top of a broken building. Selena pulled out her weapon and took the shot. Her aim was true, and the soldier toppled off the side of the building. Selena knelt down to Harvey, who didn't have long to live. Harvey smirked. "Knew I should have kicked in for that combat armor." "Harvey." "Don't. I don't have long. Before we left, I made a will that leaves you the company." "You did?" "Make the delivery, and try not to mess up the company I worked so hard to build." Selena said, "I won't let you down." But Harvey never heard her, because he was already dead. Harvey wasn't the first person she'd seen die. Harvey hadn't been particularly kind to her, but he had been someone she shared the last year with. And if he gave her his company, then he must have felt a kinship with her that he never ever showed. Selena had a promise to keep to Harvey. She had to deliver the package. She barely thought about what she was doing as Selena snuck around Dogstar Station, getting closer and closer to the delivery destination. When a dog soldier appeared, Selena ducked out of sight and found a different route. She did this again and again until she was caught. She thought she had been sneaky by analyzing a dog suit and changing hers into the same fashion, even with the dog's helmet, but she made hers white where most of theirs were clear. "Where did you get that helmet?" a German shepherd asked. "I made it," she said. "You're no dog." One dog growled and grabbed her. "Your accent doesn't even make sense." Thinking quickly, Selina managed to press some commands on the pad on her wrist, which cast a hologram of an enormous flying bone. The dog saw the bone, it panted in excitement, let go of Selina, and began to run after the illusionary bone. To Selina's delight, all the dogs that had been holding her captive now chased the bone, and Selina sprinted away as fast as she could. And then Selina was at the delivery destination. There were soldiers there, but they weren't the size of dogs. These soldiers were cats. Selina turned on her suit's speakers. "I've got your delivery." The cats, as one, turned towards her and beckoned her forward. As Selina approached, all the cats but one stepped aside, presenting their commander. With solemnity, Selina presented the box. The cat commander's eyes danced with part appreciation and part anticipation. The cat commander knelt down in front of the box and put a tech bubble around herself and the box. The commander opened up the box, took her helmet off, and pulled out a chocolate bar. The cat commander sniffed the chocolate bar, and then she took a bite. The cat moaned with delight. "This is the best chocolate bar I've had in a long time." Selina couldn't help but think how Harvey would never enjoy a chocolate bar again, and she said angrily, "This is what was so important for my colleague to lose their life over?" The cat shook her head, put her helmet back on, removed the tech bubble, and said, "Not exactly." The commander set down a small device that turned into a large black stove-like object, with a large bowl in the middle and a pipe on each side. She put the rest of the chocolate bars into the bowl apparatus, and the cats ran up, filling their weapons at the pipes. Selina watched silently, confused as to what was happening. Finally, the cat looked at Selina. "You did a good job at getting us this delivery. This is our secret weapon against the dogs. This is going to turn the tide of the battle." Then the commander patted Selina on her hip and said, "Now get out of here, human. It's our turn now." Selina carefully walked back to her ship. All the while, she could hear dogs howling and barking in frustration. Selina vowed to herself that she wouldn't disappoint Harvey. She would run the delivery business well. But going forward, Selina would take on deliveries that weren't so dangerous. Selina was going to have to find a partner. She'd treat them much better than Harvey treated her. But in the meantime, perhaps Selina would get a pet for companionship. A nice cat should do the trick. The end. Thank you for listening to today's episode. We look forward to bringing you the next episode in Glenda Blasts Your Ear Off. As their spaceship materialized.
What might I say if my love comes to visit? What might I say if his presence is felt? What might I say do I bid him to enter? Soul housed again, within flesh he once dwelt.
They want to get to them. But for what? For the love of all the evil that in those dreadful days the pair put into them, and to ply them with that evil still, to keep up the work of demons, is what brings the others back.
Soul Twin Audios presents Patchwork Classics, bringing you adaptations from the public domain. The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, adapted by Rachel Pulliam.